Welcome, Flyers fans. You're listening to Chris Mayer, Flyers Fan Mania 93 on YouTube.
All right, so Flyers lose 5-3 to the Buffalo Sabres in the second game of the home-and-home back-to-back, and honestly, the Flyers played better than last night. Obviously, they through halfway point of this game, I actually tweeted out that they had 23 shots. And that was around the 14, I'd say 14-minute mark, because they kind of stayed at 23 shots for a couple minutes. They had 4 shots through the 14-minute mark of the second period to the 10-minute mark, around the 10-minute mark of the third. So, again, they've talked about having that shooting mentality, and that it's just been non-existent. I mean, you put up 21 shots last night. You had 4 through, that's pretty much, a quarter, half of the game. Pretty close to it. Like, it's just not good enough. And so, lines for this one were a little bit different. Cates, Hayes, Konechny, Van Riemsdyk, Lawton, Tippett, Farabee, Frost, Brink, Lindblom, Thompson, McEwen, Provorov, Sanheim, or the D pair, Zamula, Connaught, and Yandel Adder. Sandstrom in there for this one. Again, like the Flyers, they get the goal early from Hayes to make it 1-0. And it was kind of just all a weird play, kind of sat in a couple skates, and Hayes just kind of picked it up, threw it on net, and ended up going in. So 1-0 there. The Flyers had 5 shots in the first, minute 29 and a goal. So they had a goal on a goal on 5 shots in the first minute and a half of this game. So it looks like it starts out to be pretty well. And then Buffalo, right then and there, were getting more zone time, more momentum. They had more of the territorial play. They get a power play, and they score. Olofsson scores on a one-timer. I honestly thought Sandstrom should have had that. I will admit, he was a little hard on himself. I thought he actually had a pretty good game. I thought he was a little too hard on himself in the post-game. That is something that you like to see, guys that legitimately care. And not saying anybody doesn't, but you get my point. So, overall, I thought the Flyers, it was a pretty decent first period, and then it's all of the offensive momentum went away. And I would have been okay with that if they went out of this period tied and maybe had a couple of chances late, whatever. But no, they give up a goal, and it's 2-1 off a terrible line change. And it's like Mike Yo talking about a postgame, something they have to work on. It's like, you really shouldn't have to work on a line change. You're an NHL team. It shouldn't become that difficult for you, or even come across as anything being really hard. But again, they come out early in the second, and they get that goal to tie the game off the scramble. It was going to be a penalty shot, ended up going in, so they called a goal. 2-2, Cates would score. Then the Flyers get a power play. Really wasn't much going on. Lots of passing. It was just not the best power play. Buffalo was literally all over the Flyers at that point in time. Flyers had a couple plays where they were just kind of, I wanted them just to pepper Buffalo and just keep shooting, because they've talked about doing that and shooting when they can, and guys looking for passes. Buffalo would get a power play, 3-2, Olofsson scores. It was just a matter of time, and then Thompson would make the score to make it 4-2. It was all Buffalo. And it's, again, as soon as I tweeted that out, that they had, 23 shots at, a little over more than a quarter of the game, or excuse me, a third of the game. And then they just had, they literally had nothing. They could not get anything else going offensively. They had 4 shots up until that point. Buffalo had 2 goals. Konechny had a chance off the rush. And then that was on a partial breakaway. Then you had another one in the third period. Sandstrom had a really nice save the other way on Skinner. So Sandstrom kept them in the game. They get a goal late from McEwen. And then Thompson would score on the empty netter. But it's things like that. And, post-game, I actually asked Mike Yo if there was any thought of putting Zamula there. And I'll play the clip now.
Both those goals they scored.
Mike, has there been any thought of using Igor Zamula on the power play?
No, not at this point.
Again, the reason I asked that is more of it's nothing against Provorov or Sanheim, and it's nothing against that. The power play is most likely going to be finishing 32 in the league. It's probably going to be the last power play in the league. My thing was Adder right away was put on the power play. You've kind of gone with different guys on the power play. York's been up there. I was just curious in the remaining handful of games that they have left, could we may have seen Igor Zamula on the power play? Doesn't look like we will. Probably not. I mean, it was a pretty definitive answer, a straight no. So, I mean, maybe at some point we do, but I don't know. That was the only reason why I asked was, maybe we saw Adder, Zamula could be maybe a different look for them. I'm not too sure. I was just curious if there at any point they would maybe use it because he could be a guy that could be on the power play at some point, but it doesn't look like that will be the case. So again, it just wasn't a good game overall, and it was just very similar issues. Again, passing up opportunities, just simple things, changes. It's just so frustrating, and there's only a handful of games left, so we'll see what happens in the next handful of weeks. Flyers take on the Leafs on Tuesday, Montreal on Thursday, Pittsburgh at home on Sunday. So let me know your guys' thoughts below. Remember, guys, podcast articles, those links are on my channel. Remember to check out SeatGeek and Garrick Construction. And again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you all again soon.